Okay. What is going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. And today on the Variety stream, we are going to be playing a very interesting game. Sorry, I was fixing a technical issue there. Boy, this fucking game. Oh my god. Cataclysm, Dark Days Ahead. I feel about this game and this stream the same way I felt when I started recording videos for Magic Realm. Not that they're similar games, like, at all, but that this is such, like, it's just such a unique, like, esoteric, arcane piece of pure nerdery that I get to share with you, and that I finally discovered. I mean, Magic Realm I didn't discover for decades. This game, I don't even know when the original release, when, you know, Cataclysm originally came out. I don't know if I have an answer for that. The initial release of Dark Days Ahead was 2013. So I don't know. Oh, there was actually a Kickstarter campaign for this in 2013. It raised $9,492. That's pretty good. Okay, so the original was released, was made open source in 2010. And it ended development in 2012. So I don't think this game goes back to, like, the 90s or something like that. You know, the original Cataclysm. But still, it's not brand new. And, it's just so interesting and, like, deep. It's so deep. We're gonna see some deepness. Oh shit, thank you. Hang with me, you're right. I was so excited I forgot to change the title. Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I don't know, hopefully that changes the actual title of the video. So what this is, it's a 2D turn-based roguelike. So it's already pretty old school. It's sort of the basic sort of foundation of the mechanics is similar to, like, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, which I was familiar with, so that helped a little bit. But this is a post-apocalyptic zombie survival simulator. You get dumped into this world. I think it's in, like, New England. The map is always randomly generated, procedurally generated, and all that goodness. And it's a zombie apocalypse, but it's not just zombies. There's also, like, Lovecraftian horrors wandering around. So I don't know the full extent of it. I've only saw one, and for some reason he left me alone. So I don't know. That was kind of nice. But from what I hear, Migos are in the game, and they're pretty vicious. There's so much to get into. It's really not an easy game to, like, learn. Oh, I'm super excited about this. Super excited about this. If it wasn't for RimWorld, this would be my current obsession. But RimWorld still takes priority. But once RimWorld is done, yeah, this is gonna be big. I'll probably make some videos about this one. I actually, a couple days ago, I took the time to, I was like, oh, I should fire up and just, like, learn the basics. Because I first heard about this through Ambiguous Amphibian's channel. He had made a couple videos on it, and I was like, okay, it looks interesting, but I was not prepared for, like, the actual depth of what's happening here. So I fired it up just to learn the basics, and I'm very glad I did, because even the absolute basics of this game are like more than practically any game out there. So be warned, I'm still a complete noob, but at least I know the absolute basics. Let's start by making our world, which is a pretty simple thing. Basically, you're just selecting mods and stuff that you want. There's a fair number of mods, which of course I like. There's one that adds magic, but we're not gonna get into that. Really, we're not gonna get into almost anything for mods. We're just gonna leave it. The only thing that we're gonna add is disable NPC needs, which is already there. This military profession pack, we're not going to be using. We're going to use the basic default profession and stats through skills, which just makes the game a little easier. That's it. You can adjust options, you can change city sizes and spawn rates, things like that. You can change monster speeds to make it harder, easier, whatever you want. Spawn delays, seasonal length, wandering hordes. Yeah, so just all default. And then the name of the world, not like it matters. Palmetto Bay. Okay. So that's our world. Then we're gonna go to new game, and this is where we make our character. So we could just do random, but that's not what we want to do. We want to be a little smarter than that. Okay. So care gen, there's 3 ways to handle your points. You can do each of your stats, traits, and skills have their own separate point pools, forcing you to have a certain number of stat points, trait points, and skill points. Single pool means you just have one big pool of points. You can distribute however you like it. You can put nothing into stats, for example, if you want. And then freeform, there's no point limits. You can just make, you know, some uber god character or some piece of absolute shit. Whatever you want. They don't care. We're gonna do single pool. Then your sort of scenario. So the basic starter one is evacuee, where you start in an evac shelter right after the apocalypse started, and that's basically it. You've survived the initial wave of panic and have achieved relative safety in one of the many government evac shelters. There's a bunch of challenge ones where you like start in a Migo camp. That sounds pretty rough. Really bad day where you start drunk to the point of incapacitation, depressed, infected, surrounded by fire, and sick with the flu. This day went downhill really fast. Yeah. There's all sorts of ones, and I think you can add more and stuff. You can download more ones, but yeah. Evacuee is what we want. Then your profession. So here's the list of default professions if you just download the game. Yep. There's quite a few. Some of them are, you know, sort of stuff that makes sense. Like a miner, a police officer. I mean, that's a decent start, right? But then you have a lot of weird ones, like an urban samurai that starts with a oh, he doesn't start with a katana. I thought he did. Or a drug dealer, or a gym teacher. You could be a major general. It's pretty good. You know, a SWAT CQC specialist. So this just determines, you know, starting skills, starting traits, starting equipment. But I'm sure some of these are better than the default survivor, but the survivor one's pretty good. because you start with a decent set of basic clothes, long sleeve shirt and jeans, which is good. You get a messenger bag, which is great. You get a watch so you can tell the time, a matchbook, a pocket knife, and a bottle of clean water. And a cell phone, but it's really only useful for the flashlight. So yeah, and you know, you don't have any sort of hampering factors, like if you're, you know, if you're a fucking, you're a shower victim, starts with soap and a towel, a wet towel. If you start as like a crack addict or something, it's in here somewhere. I don't know. There's like a heroin addict. Yeah, I mean, you can start with some debilitating stuff, and some of these actually cost you points because they're so much better. So we have 8 points to spend however we wish, but if we pick the CQC specialist, that takes away 5 right there. Whereas, oh, the park ranger costs 9 points. Holy shit. He's really built for survival, though. And that's because he starts with skills. So, I mean, you're not, it's not like, you know, you're screwed. He is just, like, pretty damn good. I don't know where the crack addict is. He's in there. It's a big list. But some of these actually give you points because they're negative. Like the clown. Just has a clown suit and compressed air horn. But yeah, Survivor's good. Survivor's good, so we're gonna go with that. Then you have Hobbies. So these are, I think, a relatively new addition. These can just modify your sort of skill XP or give you certain proficiencies. Proficiencies are like sub skills. Like archery, if that was your hobby, it gives you skill with archery and marksmanship, but then it gives you proficiency with basic archer's form. Yeah, most of these cost points, obviously. It's good to have hobbies. Some don't cost anything, like Truth Teller. When you try to tell a lie, you blush, stammer, get all shifty-eyed. Telling lies and otherwise bluffing will be much more difficult for you. This does make you a good, honest speaker when you're not trying to hide something. Pyromaniac. Obviously, you like to start fire, but you get a mood bonus from doing so. Binge eating would give us a point, but we'd start as basically morbidly obese, which, if you can't guess, is not a great thing in a survival scenario. Neither is extreme dieting, where you start as extra small. There, crackhead, so you can start with crack cocaine withdrawal. And there's a decent amount of crack cocaine and like meth and stuff just like laying around. You find like dead bodies and they'll just have like a Ziploc bag full of meth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I should take. If I should take any of that. I don't have to take any of this. But maybe, I don't know, lockpicking. That's a fun hobby. Cosplay. I mean, really, cosplay just gives you tailor skill. Love books. I don't know. Is there a randomized to it? With character gen? Yeah, I mean, you can make a random character. It doesn't actually... It doesn't, like... Yeah, I mean, we can do it. We can do it. I'll show you. I'll show you. Because it doesn't just make the character and then throw you in the game. You can actually take the randomized character and adjust stuff however you like. So we could just randomize it. And so this gave us Glenda Dickerson. She is a mall security profession. She's going to start in the wilderness for some reason. Her stats are actually pretty good. For skills, she has throwing, unarmed combat, and survival. And her hobby is pyromaniac. So, definitely not a great beginner character, I can tell you that. But then, I mean, you can just go back and just do it again, you know. Or I could have adjusted some of the, I could have removed Pyromaniac, I could have changed her to the Evacuee. Janetta Goober Francis. She's a helicopter pilot. Yeah, sounded good until the end. She's in the last flight scenario. High strength, low dex. Fabrication 3 is great. Mechanics 3. Social 1, vehicles 4. She's not really built for survival, but she has a hobby of carpentry. Okay. Let's do one more random, and if I still don't love it, then we'll just mess around. There's a lot to get to, so I don't want to spend too much time with Kerajan. Cynthia Luang. Luang. They're giving us a lot of females. She's a trapper. Stats are okay. Devices 3 is really useless for us at the start. Melee 2, unarmed combat 3. She has animal empathy, deft, pack mule, pain resistant, poison resistant, terrifying, thick skin. And she has a hobby of self-defense classes. It's not terrible. Self-defense classes might not actually be the worst profession or hobby. So let's adjust this though. Let's make sure this is here, this is here. Profession, we'll go with survivor. It's what I'm familiar with, so I don't want to mess around too much. Self-defense class costs 4 points, but it gives you melee, intermediate, and unarmed combat competent. And it gives us a starting melee martial arts style, which is kind of interesting. Effectively, though, our stats are going to kind of suffer. And as for traits, we could remove some of these, like animal empathy. I don't think is especially useful. Deft, if you miss, you can recover to hit again faster. Pack mule, you can retrieve things from containers 10% faster. Personally, I don't think that's that great. Pain tolerance is good. Poison resistant, I haven't encountered that many poisons. Terrifying, creatures find you frightening, they're more likely to try to flee. I don't know. I don't think that works on zombies, though. Thick-skinned is good. I usually like taking strong back, because that increases our maximum weight carried by 35%, which is really pretty important, as you'll see. So I think let's go with that, and let's bump our strength up another point. Oh, but we don't have any skills, except for melee and unarmed combat. That's the big problem. I mean, you don't need to start with any skills. You can all level it up. And I guess I do know how to level it all up. Alright, this seems stupid, but we'll go ahead with it. Oh, why does it still say scenario ambush? Scenario should be evacuee. Okay, that reset all my points. Because okay. Oh, I was getting more points for starting with a difficult scenario, that's why. Alright, fuck it. Let's just go with, golfing. This gives us bashing weapons, melee, and vehicles. I think that's fine. We have a hobby of golfing. So strength of 10, dex 9, int 9, perception 9. Maybe dex. No, we'll go Yeah, strength 9. And then let's take strong back. I like that. Pain resistant. And deft. But then we need a bunch of negatives. That's what we need now. So some of them are pretty negative. Being deaf is pretty bad. But being ugly I don't think is too bad. It only gives you 1 point, but it's something. Wool allergy we could take. Your scent is particularly strong. There's plenty. There's plenty, man. Alright. Lightweight, so we can't handle alcohol or drugs as well. That's fine. Glass jaw. Our head has 20% less HP. And we'll say addictive personality because we're already trying to avoid alcohol and drugs. So that gives us 4 points for skills, which is good. So the skills are applied science, archery, athletics, bashing weapons, computers, cutting weapons, devices, dodging, electronics, fabrication, food handling, handguns, healthcare, launchers, marksmanship, mechanics, melee, piercing weapons, rifles, shotguns, social, submachine guns, survival, tailoring, throwing, unarmed combat, and vehicles. It's funny that they put so much effort into the different types of guns. Really, I mean, most of the time you almost never use a gun because it's just death. Unless you're like really just loaded for bear and ready to dominate and you just clear out whole towns by yourself. So we want stuff that's going to help us with crafting and survival at the start. So fabrication is excellent. Survival is excellent. We could go with food handling, which lets us make fairy bread. Or healthcare is good. Better use of medicine in case we get injured. And tailoring wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I know it's all like really boring stuff. We could take just melee. Or we could specifically go for like bashing weapons. Alright, let's go with bashing weapons just a little bit. The hell is fairy bread? I think it's like a UK thing. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. It's like bread and butter with like sprinkles on it. I think. That's from what I remember. Alright, and let's go with Mangg since this is the official stream. Perfect. This all looks correct to me. Let's go and die. Okay. Here's how the graphics look. It's dark in here, that's why it's all. We pop open the window. There we go, get a little light in there. So, this is just one of the tile. This is like the most popular tile set that people use. You can get all sorts of different tile sets. There's one called Cataclysm that's being worked on where it changes everything into like this very bright and cartoonish colorfulness, which kind of is amusing. Buttered toast with sprinkles on it. Yeah. I've never had it, I just am familiar with it. So, yeah. So 2D sort of top-down perspective here. And it's completely turn-based, just like, you know, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. So absolutely nothing happens unless I want time to progress. So we could just leave this here for 10 hours and nothing would happen. But if I move, you know, then time progresses. I doubt you guys can really see the text and stuff on the right side. I don't know, maybe you can. Maybe you can. But the whole sidebar on the right, that shows off my sort of HP, which is divided amongst my legs, arms, torso, and head. My mood, how much sound I'm making, my speed, my stamina, which is really important. If I have safe mode on, which I'll explain, how tired I am, where I'm located, the lighting conditions, what day it is. If you have a watch, you can tell exactly what time it is, so we know it's just a little bit past 8 a.m. I'm wielding just my fists. I have no combat style applied. And then it shows your pain, your thirst, your hunger, your weight, your rest, and your temperature, if you're comfortable or not. And then there's a log window there that will scroll up with text telling you exactly what's happening, and then at the bottom right is sort of a mini-map. Basically, this game does everything through the keyboard. You'll almost never use your mouse, because it just doesn't... I think maybe you can. Yeah, I mean, you can just do this and, like, move with the mouse. But considering how much you have to use the keyboard, you're probably just going to end up using your keyboard for everything. Pretty much every single key across your keyboard does something. It corresponds to some sort of keybind. And then there's a lot of them where if you hold shift and hit a key, it does something completely different. So if I press T, that's the throw item button. So that'll ask, you know, what you want to throw. If I do shift T, that's taking off clothes that I'm wearing. If I press W, that asks what item do I want to wield in my hands, whereas if I press Shift W, that's asking what do I want to put on, what clothes do I want to put on. There's plenty of examples, and that's mostly what the basics are, is just memorizing all the keybinds and all the controls and stuff. Here's the keybind window. I mean, it's not like it scrolls on and on and on, but there's a lot of keys, and you just have to remember what they all do. Alright, so we are starting in a government evac center. There's not a whole lot in here, but it's going to be our base of operations for quite a while. First thing we're going to do, though, is just go to the windows and peek out. So we're just looking out there, seeing if there's anything horrible nearby. It does not... There generally isn't, but it's good to check. So there I just opened the window, but we want to peek through the window. Big difference. And then if you do Shift V... yeah, I know. Shift V gives you this sort of look-around screen where you can look at everything that's in your view range and see exactly. So instead of you like panning the camera around and like, oh, is that a tire? No, you just do Shift V and you get a list and you can just scroll through and read about everything that's there. And that same thing also does the monsters. So if there's any creatures of any kind in your view, you can just open up this window and look through them. So, the only creature in sight is the NPC that started with us here, Danny Jameson, who we'll talk to in a second. Okay, and, yeah, nothing out that way. So I think we're pretty clear, which is all good. So let's talk to Danny. We could attack him and steal his shit or something, but he's probably much better geared than I am, considering I don't even have a weapon. But from him, we can get a quest, or a job. It's hard surviving out here on our own. We'd probably have a better chance working together. Problem is, I don't really know you and what you're capable of. You might have what it takes, or you might not. If I come back in a few days, he'll gladly follow me. Because actually surviving for a few days is kind of a tall order. Alright. So we can ask him if he'll share any equipment with us. Because I'm your friend, 39%. No way, go fuck yourself, dumb shit. Perfect. Okay. So he's not going to be especially useful to us. We could trade with him just to see what he's carrying. He's carrying a Glock 22. He's got a cordless drill, leather jacket, leather pants, medical gloves, wool socks, a wool scarf, sweater. Damn, he's loaded for winter. Kevlar vest, motorcycle helmet, and steel-toed boots. This guy's ready to fucking kick the apocalypse's ass. And so we could actually buy all this stuff for our, you know, barter and trade. But a lot of it is super expensive, and obviously I have $0. I mean, we're not talking money, we're talking barter, so I don't have really anything to offer him that I want to give away. Right. But we'll keep it in mind. So let's poke around the evac center and look at exactly what it has to offer us in these different lockers. So this one has a folded emergency blanket, a lighter, an emergency jacket, 3 protein rations, a evacuation pamphlet, plastic fork, knife, spoon, and Tupperware. Right, so some of that is useful, some of it is not. Here we have pretty much the same thing. We have a plastic bottle filled with water. Here we have a flashlight, a whistle, some more bottles of water. Pretty good. Now, gosh, there's so much to explain. So, water, okay, survival. Let's just talk about survival. I mean, you're probably familiar with what you need. You need food, you need water, and you need some form of shelter. So the evac center is going to be our shelter for a while. It's a good base of operations, especially if there's a town nearby, which there usually is. We can sort of just raid that slowly and come back here every day. But food and water. Water is the easier of the two, generally. At least I've found. There's some water here. There's generally a few bottles of water, but that won't last us that long. There is some water in the toilets downstairs, which we'll get to, but it's not really clean water. We don't really want to consume that just as is out of the toilet. What we need to do is get a bunch of water and then boil it. So that means that we need fire. And, well, we could just go outside and start a fire, which would probably start a whole forest fire. We could start a fire in here, but that would be really, really dumb. What we need is a brazier. Like, basically a little, like, cooking stove that we can contain a fire indoors and do our cooking on. That's what we want. So we'll get to that. Food, though, is a little trickier. There are protein rations all over the place here. I mean, I've started in evac shelters already where I had like 40 of them. But if we go to the description of the protein ration, it says... Soy Palooza ran a highly successful crowdfunding campaign for their signature protein bar dubbed Die-Zoom. A person can live on one of these bars 3 times a day, presumably forever. But after backers received their product, a single flaw was found. Most consumers found starvation preferable to the flavor. Warehouses of the product went unsold as the company went bankrupt, providing the perfect opportunity for FEMA to scoop them up and stock the evac shelters. Now you hold a piece of famous crowdfunding history in your hands. How exciting. So, we can eat these, and we can survive off these. But, if we go to this consume screen, you can see that each one will give 400 calories. It will make us slightly thirstier, but it will also give -5 joy. And that's the morale system. And morale is actually really important, as I'm learning, apparently. Because if you have low morale, that basically affects, like, everything you can do. It affects like how quickly you learn all your skills. It affects like crafting speed. You're basically just become like a living zombie if you don't have enough morale. So you can survive off the rations, but at what cost? I mean, it's better than dying. Despite what the description text says, it is better than dying. But yeah, we want to find some other source of food. If we go into the town and we raid some houses, we'll probably find a decent amount of, like, canned food. But, you know, we want to look beyond that and look to, like, fishing and farming. Something sustainable. Alright, so here we have some crafting cupboards, or basically they're just cupboards you can craft on. Here we have 9 folded emergency blankets and 6 emergency jackets. We don't need 9 emergency blankets, but we can shred them. We can cut them up. So that's something. Let's put on 1 emergency jacket, because it's usually a good idea. This other one, we have 23 protein rations. That's a lot. These evac shelters generally contain like the same sort of items, but quantities are heavily randomized. So we head into the basement. On the ground here we have 3 more protein rations, a glass shard, some plastic stuff, and a paper wrapper. Okay. Just sort of poking around. It's dark down here, so you can only see stuff if it's right next to you. But yeah, okay, I guess that's about it. In the bathroom, we have a scrub brush, a gallon jug of bleach, which you could drink if you want to play a different game, 20 soap bars, and a first aid kit. That'll be useful. Scrub brush, paper, another first aid kit. Scrub bar, soap bars, scrub brush, soap bars, paper, another first aid kit. So we have multiple first aid kits, which is good. Here's the toilet. It's got 24 liters of water in it. We can just consume it straight, but it'll say it looks unclean. So we don't want to really drink that because you can get sick. That's not good. Or we can take it into a container, pour it on the ground, so on and so forth. Okay, so first thing, after we have checked out the whole location, we want to assemble a basic set of tools that we can start to actually, like, deconstruct pieces of furniture in the evac shelter and things like that, so we can get raw materials to make more exciting things and useful things. Because, frankly, we don't need 6 benches, but we do need some wooden planks. So, if we go over here, you can open the crafting menu just anywhere by just using crafting stuff on the ground. But you get a crafting speed boost. Oh, I didn't look through all these stuff. 20 more protein rations. 20 more protein rations. A 2-way radio. No one seems to use these nowadays. We can bash things with it. It's actually not the worst damage in the world against an unarmored target. We can disassemble it if we had a soldering iron and a screwdriver. And yeah, we can also barter with it. $7.50. That's actually pretty great. We'll sell it to this guy. That dumbass. 3 more first aid kits and 2 batteries. And 22 more protein rations. Just pour the bleach in the toilet water and then it's safe. Let's see if we can't do that. Hold on. Where did I find that bleach? Okay. So let's see. Open our inventory. I know you're being facetious, but I just want to see if you can dump bleach into the toilet water. Let's see here. We want to unload into a container. No, you can't combine it like that. What you could do, I guess, is you could pour all the water from the toilet on the ground, and then you could pour the bleach into the toilet. What? Surely I can. No, they won't let me pour. Huh. That's interesting. I'm actually kind of surprised by that, all things considered. They don't treat it as, they don't treat it as a container except for this dirty water that starts in it. We could dump out the bleach and use the gallon jug. I mean, obviously, we could do that. But yeah, I'm a little miffed about that. Hold on, what if I... I drop my bleach on the toilet, and then I can pick the bleach back up. Oh no, I need a mop now. Spill it. Okay, I was gonna say, it would be kind of ridiculous. Alright, but now we have a gallon jug that we can use. And we can use it for whatever we want. That's okay. Bleach is not that crazy essential. You can make bleached bandages, but you can also make boiled bandages, which are just as good. So, right, anyways, right, so we looked all that. Let's go to the crafting menu. So, God, you can craft so much shit. So, these are all the different categories. Here's the other category right now, right? Now, keep in mind, it only shows things... It only shows things that you can make with your current skill level. And we have a fabrication of 2, survival of 2, and that's about it. And this is just the other category. Here's the weapon category. Ammo, food, and keep in mind, we have no food handling skill, which adds a whole bunch of more recipes. The chemical stuff... Electronics, we know almost nothing because we have no electronics skill. The armor category, it's got a decent chunk in there, even though we have no tailoring. And, yeah, that's that. There's a lot. Oh, and that's just the crafting menu. There's also the construction menu, in which you can actually make, like, structures and beds and walls and doors and... you could place water mills and shit and make kilns and forges and fences, lean-tos. It's fucking insane, man. It never ends. It never ends. Okay. So, what we want to make, though, is 3 things. We can make bandages, which is good, but we want to make makeshift tools. Makeshift crowbar, makeshift hammer, and we want to make a screwdriver. It's not a makeshift one, it's just a screwdriver. So let's start with the crowbar. We need a tool with a hammering skill of or quality of 1 or more. And we need a pipe. I believe the pipe actually has a hammering quality of 1, but we can't use the pipe to pipe itself. I mean, that would be absurd. So we need something with a hammering of 1 or more and a pipe. We get the 1 or more by finding a rock. Because believe it or not, you can hammer things with a rock. I found 3 feathers. Oh, I found 60 feathers. Okay. So we headed outside the evac shelter into a forest. If I open up the world map here, you can see that we're basically surrounded by forests to our west, south, southwest, and then to our east is a bunch of swamp. To our west along the road is a small town called Canton. And to the south looks to be maybe a bigger city. So we want to avoid that at all costs. So Canton is where we're going to be raiding when we get a chance, but it's filled with zombies, so that's not a quick, easy thing. But we're free to just roam around this forest for a little bit. There can be dangerous things in the forest, but that's, you know, you gotta take some risks. We can get some wild vegetables and plant material, thing like that. There's a sound effect whenever I'm moving through like slow, heavy terrain. That's kind of annoying. So, yeah, foraging is good, levels up your survival skill. Ideally, we're looking for just an open rock laying on the ground. But, yeah, I don't see one immediately, so we're gonna go with the alternative. That fucking sound effect, it's terrible. So, since, I don't know where I'll find an open rock, we're gonna just go over here to the curtain, and we're gonna tear down the curtains. This gives us 2 sheets, a long string, 4 nails, and a stick. So, a stick is good enough. It is a bashing weapon that we can use. We're gonna wield it. And then we're gonna go over to one of these lockers. And we're just gonna smash it. Until it breaks. Now, ideally, we would have gotten a pipe. We didn't get a pipe. We got 20 scrap metal and 10 small metal sheets. So I have to keep smashing these until I get a pipe. And Danny Jameson is upset with me. Alright, there we have a pipe. So, we can take the pipe now. Drop our stick. Sound effects is to make sure you know you're making noise that zombies could hear. Yeah, I know that. And that's what a lot of the sound effects in this game are for. But, when you're walking through the forest and stuff, it's pretty annoying. So, we are going to use this pipe to make a makeshift crowbar. But we need the rock first. So, we're going to use it to get a rock by going to one of these small boulders and just smashing it. There we go. We got 2 flints, 3 rocks. Perfect. Okay. Now if we go to the craft, go to other, makeshift crowbar. We want this because it has a level 1 prying quality, so we can use it to pry stuff off. They change it. You used to be able to use this to pry open doors and windows if they were locked, but now you need a prying level of 2. So, it's a bit of a bummer. Alright, so we made the crowbar, which took an amount of time I didn't check. And we can pick up the crowbar and hold it in our hands. Next thing we want to make is the makeshift hammer. So we can just go here. So we have a tool with hammering of 1 or more. You need a hammer to make a hammer. But then we need a plank or a stick, a chunk of steel or a lump of steel, and pretty much some sort of rope or something to tie it together. The easiest for us is to get 2 short strings, because the curtain gave us a long string, and we can cut this apart into 6 short strings. So if you go into the butcher menu, the disassemble menu, we can go to the long string, 30 seconds to cut it up into 6 short strings. And there we have it. So now we can take the 6 short strings. Okay, then we need the lump of steel, chunk of steel. The only way that we're gonna get that is either smashing the computers, I think. But since we have to go to the roof anyways, we'll go up there. The stairs up to the roof are behind this door, which is locked. If you had lock picks and knew how to lock pick, you could do that. If you had a good crowbar, you could just pry it open. But of course, we will continue to smash. There you go. Smashed. That gave us 4 splintered wood, a door hinge, a nail, and 2 planks. And splintered wood and another nail. And then we can go to the roof. I know it looks like we went into outer space, but there's no graphics for like being above the first floor. So this is how it used to look originally. And this is just how it still looks, even with graphics. Okay, so up here there's a standing tank, which we'll get to. There's a roof turbine vent. There's a glass bottle of sherry, but we were trying to avoid alcohol. We could use it to make a Molotov cocktail or a crack pipe. One of those is more useful than the other, I think. East India Solera, a true drink of a British gentleman. Sherry Niles. Nice. Nice reference. Sick references, bro. Yeah, we'll take the sherry. And over here, we have a solar panel. Now, solar panels are actually really good, but we need the steel that it will provide, and we can't disassemble it without actually getting that steel to make the stuff, so we have to smash it. Smashing it is really the least effective way of getting what we want. But we have it. So instead of taking it all into my inventory, I'm just gonna haul it. So I just basically drag it all in a pile. It's a little more time consuming, but screw it. Okay, and we'll just drag it all, this big pile, over to our crafting section. You can't use it to help you make fine cuisine. That's a good question. I don't have a fire, and my food handling skill is shit. So I don't know. Brandied fruit? That would be brandy, Canadian whiskey, cheap whiskey, gin, moonshine, rum. No sherry in the brandied fruit. No, okay. I think, as you can see, you probably can. I just don't know if my character can at this point. Berry bread. You need some sort of bread. You need butter or ghee or raw butter and some sprinkles. Oh, Australia. That's what I was thinking of. Not the UK. Australia. Homemade toastum. Honey sandwich. Large boiled stomach. Meat nachos with cheese. Oh, what a delicacy in the apocalypse. Oh my god. PB and H. Oh, peanut butter and honey. PB and J, of course. PB and M is maple syrup and peanut butter. How Canadian. Quesadilla. Sorbet. Strong mixed alcohol. Wheatened milk tea. Vegetarian nachos. You can just make vodka if you have ethanol and water. Pretty simple. In America, men make vodka, but in Soviet Russia, vodka makes the man. Deep. You like the idea of using the zombie apocalypse as an opportunity to become a master chef. Yeah, I know. And it's so funny that there's so many options. And this is with food handling of 0. And a lot of recipes are like contained in books that you can find and stuff. So I have no idea how many food recipes there actually are in the game. I'm certain you could find a use for sherry. Pretty funny. Alright, but more importantly, we're interested in the Makeshift Hammer. Okay, and there it is. We can take it. And then we need one more thing, and that's the screwdriver. So let's take a look. Oh, we can make it. Because that's a chunk of steel or scrap metal and a plank, stick, or duct tape. Alright, and so we can use either the chunk of steel or the scrap metal. And chunk of steel is generally more valuable, so we'll use scrap metal. Alright, so now we have a screwdriver, crowbar, and a hammer. And with that, we can go over to, say, a bench, go into the construction menu, and we can deconstruct furniture. It takes 20 minutes to complete. There we go. We disassembled this part of the bench into 7 nails and 4 planks. So we can do that multiple times. And to get a whole bunch of planks. Okay. Then we can go back to the roof. Back to the standing tank. And we can deconstruct that to get a water faucet, which is not too useful. And 4 60-liter metal tanks. These are useful, because this is how we're going to boil our water. You can see it has level 2 boiling quality. So we're just going to haul the whole lot of it downstairs. Okay. So now we need the brazier. So to get that, we're going to go ahead and disassemble a locker. Oh, it's too dark, so I have to... It's only 10 a.m., but we need to pop open a window. And so that, you can see, gave us the pipe. Because you have a much lower chance of getting an intact pipe if you smash the locker. And what we need is sheet metal right here. And if you try to smash the lockers, I don't know if you'll ever get sheet metal. Whereas if you disassemble it, you'll pretty much always get it. So we're going to take the sheet metal. I don't remember what else we need for the brazier, but we will look. Nope, we can make it. It's just sheet metal. You just hammer some sheet metal into a shape to hold a fire. It's pretty simple. Alright, so we're going to grab the brazier. And then we're going to go to the activate menu. And we're going to use the brazier. Well, no, let me put it up here. So there's our brazier. So now we need fuel and a way to light it. Fortunately, like I said, we start with a matchbook of 20 matches, so that's no problem. And as for fuel, we have a whole bunch of planks here. So I'm just gonna haul a bunch of these planks and nails over here. We're gonna designate that spot as a firewood source so that it will continually resupply it. And then we're just going to start a fire. Look at that nice animation. It's beautiful. Okay. So I think this will eventually smoke us out, so we're gonna actually open some windows, because we should be safe. But now we need to actually get a tank full of dirty water. We could go downstairs and take all the water out of the toilets to fill up one of these bad boys, but we're right next to a forest, which means that there's ponds of water, and that's a lot easier. So we're gonna go ahead and not haul it. We're going to grab one of these 60-liter tanks, take it outside, drag it all through the forest and the loud noises to find a pool of water. I remember seeing one. Oh, there it is. Clank, 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 clank. Alright, and we're gonna take the water, pour it into our container, the metal tank, and so now we filled it to the brim with water. It's pretty miraculous because that looks like a small puddle. But now we're carrying... I don't even know how much this weighs. How much does this weigh? We're carrying 175 pounds total. Oh, this weighs 144 pounds. I feel like that's probably accurate. I think they wouldn't mess that up. I feel like that's accurate. Yeah, that's quite a bit. Luckily, we're strong. So we're taking it back into our place now, and we're gonna drop it off onto the brazier. And so now you can see that we have, on the brazier, we have 240 water. It's not clean yet, though. You actually have to specifically go into the crafting menu now. Whoops. Go over to food and cook the clean water. Otherwise, it'll just be hot, dirty water. This perplexed me for a while when I first started, but yeah, you have to do clean water. And we're gonna do a batch creation. And for now, let's just do 20. So this is 20 liters of clean water that we're boiling. Okay, and that'll take some time, but while we're finished and we can pour it into our one of our other containers there, metal tanks, and now it's, now we're all good. Now we have 20 liters of pure, clean water with, basically as much water as we want in the future. So then we can just go to the consume menu, go to clean water, and just drink. And we can drink more and drink more. So now we're slaked. Okay, so that solves our water issue. Perfect. Still leaves food. And we don't have a bed, but that's a minor concern. Really, we don't have any defensive measures. We have no weapon other than a makeshift hammer or something, or a stick. So we could talk to this guy. Did he have... Yeah, we could buy something from him. I don't know what paramedics is. Oh. It's a book, an educational magazine for EMTs. That's not terrible. Just read about first aid. I think we took first aid, so it's not really essential. We don't want to buy his gun because that would be useless. His drill would be kind of useful. But aside from that, probably like his motorcycle helmet. Or his gloves, but I doubt his gloves provide much. No, I picked socks. Oops. 90% coverage. Very weak protection against everything but acid. Yeah, we'd be better off buying like his leather jacket or his leather backpack. The backpack's pretty appealing. So, okay, we're gonna sell him our two-way radio. So that gives us 945 to trade with him. So the backpack is 1462. We can give him the sherry. That's worth quite a bit, 483. That's a pretty good use for sherry. can also give him our first aid kit instruction booklet. Is there anything else I want to sell him? We could sell him the first aid kit because we have many of them. But that seems a little reckless, doesn't it? What else would I buy? His drill? I don't know. Okay, alright, let's try selling him the first aid kit. That gives us 25, so we can buy the Kevlar vest. And we have $1.30. We could buy his medical gloves. And a necklace. Or a scarf. Sure, let's buy the scarf. Looks like a deal to me. Alright, and he just dumps it all on the ground. Did he? No, maybe he didn't. Okay, so let's see here. Wearing. We want to wear the leather backpack. Oh, he gave us the cordless drill as part of the price. Well, that's perfect. Oh no, I bought the cordless drill. Right, I bought it. We'll put on the medical gloves. We'll leave the scarf off because it's already... I mean, it's springtime. It's not particularly chilly right now. And the Kevlar vest. We'll put that on. So let's go to our overall armor screen. I'll explain some things. So not only do you have to worry about what you're wearing... you also have to worry about how it's layered. Because if you wanted, you could put your socks over your shoes. If you wanted. I mean, it allows for that. So here you can see all our stuff that affects our torso. Anything that protects our torso in any way. And then it's layered, starting with your innermost piece, which is touching your skin, all the way to the outermost piece. And this matters for encumbrance purposes, as well as when an enemy hits you, or shoots you, or whatever. What thing is going to be affected first? What's your outermost thing that has the high, what is most likely to be torn before something else gets hit? So we probably... I want our Kevlar vest on the outside. But it says, wearing this outside of your emergency jacket is adding encumbrance. And encumbrance is super important because encumbrance, if you just keep stacking shit onto your body, it really drags down like your physical capabilities, like your ability to dodge attacks and your ability to hit in melee or in your ability to shoot properly and all sorts of stuff. So low encumbrance makes you the most capable, but obviously it makes you very vulnerable. High encumbrance, you're not so vulnerable, but you can't really, you're going to be taking a lot of hits and not dealing out as many. So it's all a big balancing act. You can take all of his armor and trade, then use that to kill him and take back all the things you traded him. Almost certainly, yes. Yeah, almost certainly. They're not particularly bright. So, if we put the Kevlar vest under everything, it's our encumbrance for our torso is 35 plus 5, which is already way too high. But if I put the Kevlar vest on the outside, it's 35 plus 17, because it's just sort of this awkward way of doing it. You're like constraining yourself even more than is necessary. And you would only do this if you really just wanted the Kevlar vest to protect everything else underneath it. So we can put the emergency jacket outside of the Kevlar, but trying to put your vest over your backpack is really odd. So the backpack has to be outside. Now our messenger bag is not quite as thick, so that can actually stay in a little bit. No, I guess the Kevlar doesn't bother, but the emergency jacket, it's demanding it. Yeah, okay, so I mean, it's set it up basically how it should be. This is pretty much how it should be. This is the minimal amount of torso encumbrance that I can have with all this shit equipped. Which it's a backpack and a messenger bag, emergency jacket with a long sleeve shirt and a vest. I mean, it's quite a bit, so we're obviously gonna have to ditch something here. We just look through the rest of my stuff, my arms, my hands, my legs, to make sure your underwear is not outside your jeans. Yep, it all makes sense. And it tells you if there's any, like, stupid stuff happening. Right, so the most encumbering things I have, of course, are the emergency jacket and the messenger bag. The backpack is not that encumbering. The reason why you want to have so many bags and things like that is because of the way that carrying stuff works. So carrying, how much you can carry is based on two factors. One, physical, like, weight. How much you can physically move around with, you know. That's one factor. The other factor, though, is volume. Because you actually have to store all these things somewhere. You can only hold so many things in your arms. The rest has to be somewhere else. In a pocket, on your belt, in a backpack, you know, wherever. There has to be storage. So volume, so our jeans can hold 4.66 liters of contents in its pockets. The emergency jacket can hold 1.6. The messenger bag 15, and the backpack 25. So the backpack is very good. I'm glad we got that. The emergency jacket, it's very warm. That's its biggest thing, basically, is it covers most of your upper body, and it's warm. It does not offer much protection. And it doesn't really store that much. So the emergency jacket, I think, is going to go for now. If we open up our little status screen here, we can see that our encumbrance for our torso is now down to 21 plus 5. So that means that our melee hits have a minus 26% chance to hit, and we have minus 2.6 dodge. We could get this down even further, but I'm not sure how much I'd like to. Do I want to kill this guy? I guess that's a good question. That's the thing, he's got a fucking Glock. He's got a fucking Glock. Which I don't want. I mean, it's really not something you'd ever want to use. But he would use it on me. And I don't know if it's really worth risking it. I mean, in real life, you probably would not mess with this guy. I guess in real life, you know, he'd probably sleep at some point. So it's not quite a perfect simulator. But yeah, I think we'll leave him alone. So, alright, after all that discussion, though, we do need a weapon. So let's look at our weapon list of things we could potentially create. Right now, just with the stuff around us, we could make a throwing stick, which is basically a sharpened stick you can throw. A 2x sword, which is a plank with a crossguard and whittled down point. We can make a cudgel, which is just... it's a heavy stick. A nail board, a long piece of wood with several nails through one end. A pointy stick, which also has level 1 food cooking quality, so you can actually cook some food on the end of this. Which is nice. And a rock in a sock. A true weapon of despair. Wonderful. Of those, I would say the absolute best one is the cudgel. You can see the melee damage section there on the right tells you sort of your hit bonus. The moves per attack is basically the time that it takes you to swing. So 81 compared to 101 for this one. Nail board is 108. Pointy stick is 100. Rock in a sock is 89. So the cudgel is the fastest. And then it gives you sort of guesstimates for damage per second against like totally unarmored or someone that's agile and can dodge versus an armored target. Obviously not great against an armored target, but none of this is. This is basic shit. We're gonna mostly be tussling if we do with unarmored targets, so it's decent. And it has some special techniques. It can stun them if you crit, can do a rapid strike, and it has a high blocking ability. It's a very solid starting weapon. It's probably what we're going to go with. Other ones to consider. The quarterstaff is pretty good. It's basically just sort of a better cudgel in a lot of ways. It doesn't have the stun, but it can sweep them, which is, you know, decent. And it has better damage, but it does take longer to swing. It's also more likely to hit. So, yeah, I like the quarterstaff. We might go with that if I get a long stick. Another one that's very popular. There's a bow. We could make the bow, but we don't have a quiver, which makes it really difficult because you have to basically carry your arrows with you and then drop them on the ground whenever you want to shoot your bow. But the simple knife spear. If we had any sort of knife, even like a butcher knife, we could likely make this, because the rest is just like a long string, a rag, and a long stick. Spear is very good because of one reason. You can make reach attacks with it. So you can attack from an extra square away. And you can be faster than zombies, so you can actually kite them with a spear and just never get touched. It's a popular way to go for a lot of people. Even more basic than that is the spike on a stick, which we could actually make right now because I can make spikes. All right, Durden. Yeah, you probably will see me play more of this. I don't know when I finish uploading all the RimWorld shit. So in like 6 months you'll see me make some more videos on this. Yeah, so I think let's go with the quarterstaff. It's a solid starter weapon. We need a long stick. The best way to get that is to go just bash down a young tree. Young trees are the only ones that we can bash down. So we have to specifically go out here and look for the little baby trees. There we go, and we get a long stick. Oh, there's one other factor in how much you can carry. Sorry, there's 3 factors. The third is length. Because this long stick is too long. The longest length that we can handle is 19 inches. Because you can't just stick a 40-inch thing in your backpack. You need some sort of other setup. If you're trying to carry it in something other than your arms, you need some sort of other setup on your body to be able to manage something that long. So that's why I had to drop my crowbar in order to carry a stick, because the crowbar is 23 inches long. So 3 factors. Okay, OBS disconnected there. Alright. So let's go over here. Quarterstaff. We're basically just cutting a stick, smoothing it out, and, you know, balancing it. That's it. Okay. Now, the one reason that we wouldn't want to take the quarterstaff with us into town to check it out is because we might want to dismantle things that we find in a house, like the oven. And for that we need the crowbar, but since we can't carry the quarterstaff and the crowbar at the same time, can't really, you know, can't do that. But you can put the cudgel into your backpack, because the cudgel is, oh no, the cudgel is 23 inches. What am I thinking of? I don't know. Well, the rock and a sock you can certainly put in your backpack. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I had a setup where I could put the cudgel in my backpack. I must have had a longer pack of some kind. Alright, well anyways, we're gonna take our quarterstaff. Overall, we're in pretty good shape. We are unhappy. That's because we're warm. And that's really because we were in there with the fire. But, let's check our map. We could wander through the forest, but let's stick to the road so we don't have to deal with that sound. Okay. So we'll just move along the road quickly with confidence. The reason we have confidence is due to safe mode. Safe mode will immediately stop all of our actions as soon as we find something that is potentially hostile to us. Like there. So it immediately spotted a fat zombie within our view range, and it stopped everything. The only way, there's only two buttons that will, you know, continue this. And that's the exclamation point to turn off safe mode, or the apostrophe to ignore that monster that we saw. But let's take a look at this fat zombie. There he is over there. Stumbling as it moves, this corpse of an overweight human regards its surroundings with an empty black gaze. So this is a hostile creature to me. He will attack on sight, but it is much slower than I am. So this is really where you'd want to spear, because then you could easily kite this bad boy. But overall, I don't think we'll have especially tough time dealing with the fat zombie. So we could wander over there until he sees us. We can also, though, yell. Try and get his attention. We didn't get his attention. So we can inch a little closer, yell again. Still didn't get his attention. Now we got his attention. So now he's seen us. Generally you don't want to go into towns during the day, from what I understand. Because even though you can see much farther, so can the zombies. And stealth is definitely your friend when going into towns. I'm just going in here because I want to keep the stream interesting just for the couple hours we're doing it. Okay, so here comes the zombie. We don't have a reach weapon, so this is just going to be a melee tussle. There's two different ways to attack with just a regular melee weapon. We can move into him. Just like, you know, if he's in a square next to us, we can just move into where he is and we'll attack. Or you can press tab, and that will just auto-attack. So right now, he's next to us. We press tab. I stunned him with my blow because I crit him for 28 damage. So now if I hover over him, we see that he, his health is right next to his name to the left. It's those green lines. He started with 5 green lines. He's down to 3. So we took off 40% of his HP in one shot, and he's stunned. So let's whack him again. We crit him again, stunning him more for 33 damage. He's down to 1 line, and now we will finish him. Oh shit, we did not. That's called being cocky. We swept him for 21 damage, but he did manage to claw at me while on the ground. So he clawed my right foot, And since I am only wearing sneakers there, I think, yeah, socks and sneakers, and that's the other thing I didn't mention about armor. So armor, let's look at the sneakers. Armor, anything you're wearing with clothes, it has protection values, so that determines like how much damage it blocks or whatever, something like that. But then it also has a coverage value, and that's a percentage of that body part that it's covering. So sneakers cover 80% of my feet. So when something attacks my feet, there's like a dice roll, and if it lands in that 20% margin, if it lands in a margin where you don't have coverage, then it'll ignore whatever protection that clothed or armor provides. So he managed to get a very lucky hit through my sneakers. So my sneakers did not block anything. They were not touched. They're pristine still, because he got like my ankle. And so for that, I'm now bleeding. I did block some of the damage with my quarterstaff, but I am bleeding. So let's hit him again. We quickly struck him for 5 damage. He's still not dead somehow. He's on the 2 dots there. That's his lowest life possible. Pretty much anything will kill him. All right, and there we go. 8 more damage, and he is dead. So first thing, we'll want to patch this bleeding. So if we go into our inventory, I left all my bandages back at the evac center, but I think it's such a minor bleed, we probably can just stop without doing it. 'Tis but a scratch. Yeah, so I think if we just wait here until I catch my breath. Maybe another... Oh, we spotted another zombie. So, okay, but you'll notice we're no longer bleeding. That's because if you are bleeding just a little bit, you can actually just stand there and wait, and your character will like press on the wound to try and stop it. So we actually stopped bleeding. We spotted another zombie over here. He hasn't seen us yet, though, so it's just nothing. But there's one other thing we have to do with this guy. This little red skull icon. Basically, every zombie in the game, once you kill it, in quotation marks, you have to finish it off. If you don't specifically destroy its brain or otherwise prevent it from being able to move ever again, it will reanimate perpetually. So there's multiple ways to do this. The way that I did it originally, because I thought it was the only way because I was an idiot, is by going onto the body and actually butchering it. Because you can do all sorts of different butchery of like corpses and you know, animal carcasses and stuff. But I was doing this dismember thing for 48 seconds to just like cut apart his body. But the actual way you should do this, if you're not an idiot, is to just smash it like you would a locker or a door. So there you go. We thoroughly pulped him. Nice blood streak. And now he will never regenerate. He's done. Okay, so then we can loot him and see what he had. Or she, I suppose. She had a filthy backpack. You'll see that everything that she's wearing was filthy, and that's because it came off of a zombie's corpse. This can be cleaned. We could actually clean it with what we have back at the evac center. We have soap and water. But if you wear something that's filthy, you get a morale debuff. That's not great. And you are more likely to be infected if you're ever, like, cut or bitten. So, yeah, generally, if you're wearing filthy stuff, you want to clean it. So the backpack, the bra, leather pants, light gloves, socks, panties, straw fedora, and a sweatshirt. You'll see that some of this says poor fit. That means it does not a good fit for your body. That just, I think, increases the encumbrance value. It might affect morale as well. I'm not sure about that, but pretty sure it's encumbrance. So, because it says encumbrance, poor fit. So the only things that we'd really want to consider are the backpack, which can hold 25 liters of volume and 66 pounds with a maximum length of 15. I mean, we're pretty good on storage. I wouldn't really want to double up more. The light gloves, but they're a pair of cotton gloves. So that's sort of useless. Socks we're fine with. Panties I don't think we need, even though it is a good fit for our body. It's a nice fit. The straw fedora. If it was hotter out, sure, but nah. And then she had a can of American Pale Ale. A tasty craft beer, best served cold in a glass, but you're not that lucky. Alright, I mean, a beer that makes you feel better. We'll take it. Okay, that was our first zombie kill. We got out relatively unscathed. Our right leg is a little shredded, so we are in a very small amount of pain. It was just a grazing hit. We're still a little warm, but that should wear off pretty soon. Alright, so, we have a zombie and we have a tough zombie. Tough zombie, as their name implies, are a little tougher. I don't want to be suicidal. But let's see if we can't swoop around a little bit. Through the forest. Through the very loud forest. Because ideally we sneak into a house, close all the shades, no one sees us, and we can just loot it in peace. That's ideal. Oh, but we spotted a zombie right there, and he has seen us, so there's no escape in this fight. So we want to just, oh shit, trapped. Alright, so we struck him for 13 damage, but he grabbed us. So, grabbing is not good. It greatly reduces our speed, and, it makes it harder to dodge and block damage. So we have two options here, really. We can just keep trying to smack him to try and get out of the grip, or we can try and move. Where we do nothing but just try and struggle to get out. Let's just go with smacking him. So we swept him for 16 damage. He struggles to stand, but we are still grabbed. 8 more damage. He bit our torso, but he failed to penetrate our armor. So our Kevlar vest or our long sleeve shirt, whatever it is, prevented him from actually doing anything. And he didn't even, like, damage our clothing, so that was the really nice thing. But there we go. 19 damage, and now he clawed at my right leg. So now we are having that minor bleeding again, and we are still grabbed. He's persistent. But there, we crit him for 33 damage, and he died. We'll go ahead and smash him. And then, let's duck behind some trees here. And just wait. There we go. We lost some blood, but overall we're fine. We're in minimal pain. It's all good. Okay, he had boxer briefs, Haiori. Okay. It's worn over a kimono. He didn't have a kimono. Some dress shoes, some mittens, some socks, and an undershirt. Overall, nothing too valuable for us. Let's turn safe mode back on. And then poke over here. So we've got a closed window. We could smash it, but that would draw a lot of attention to us. We can't pry it because we only have a makeshift crowbar. All the windows are likely to be locked, and I don't really want to turn the corner. So we can climb onto the roof, but there's nothing really up here. I don't know. I think you can maybe jump to the other roof, but that's probably suicidal. Can't go down here. Surely I can. Oh, there. Yeah, there we go. Climb down. There we go. Okay, so if we want to be a little stealthier, we can actually crouch. Because I don't know what's around this corner, so we're just gonna poke. Okay, so far so good. Oh, now we spotted a zombie all the way over there. We'll keep an eye on that one. Oh, there's a zombie soldier. Now the zombie soldier will fuck your face hole. So, if any of these spot us here, we're gonna bolt. And we have a locked door, locked door. Alright. So that's no good. I think we're better off if we are gonna make it interesting, at least. I think we probably just take on the tough zombie. Rather than trying to fuck around with the doors and stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna get shredded a little bit with the tough zombie, but I can show you healing. At least as far as I understand it. Oh, there's a crawling zombie as well. Alright, we just want one of these. The tough zombie has spotted us. Alright, so here, let's kite him out a little bit. And we're gonna beat the shit out of him. With our quarterstaff. Like a badass. Oh, he already grabbed me. 17 damage. 8 damage. He failed to penetrate my armor. 18 damage, but he shredded me good. Left leg and left arm. That was pretty good hit. 25 damage. 23 damage. Crit. He's stunned, but he bit into my right arm. So I'm bleeding him. No, I'm only bleeding in one spot, I think. He is still grabbing me even though I stunned him. Oh, he failed to penetrate and I missed. And there he goes down. Okay, so for this one we might actually... Yeah, minor bleeding is okay, but bleeding is a little worse. So let's go ahead and smash him. Just bra, panties, and tights. Damn, that was quite the zombie to look at. Alright, so now we are bleeding. We're gonna go ahead and head back to the evac center. I really should have taken some bandages with me. That was my bad. We're losing blood as we go. Hard to say how much. Where the heck is this? Oh god, I went around. Okay. Oh right, I sold that first aid kit. That's why I didn't have it. First aid kit. Right, so... adhesive bandages is what we want, I think. Oh, did we stop? We stopped bleeding. Perfect. So it clotted. Alright, but now we have the first aid kit, so we can continue on. We're in mild pain, we're still a little warm. Our chest is a little warm due to the Kevlar. with the long sleeve shirt in the nice spring weather. But there's just not a whole lot I can do about that. I like having it there. Okay, continuing. Let's see here. Crawling zombie, I've never fought one, so I don't know what to expect with that. But those normal zombie we're well familiar with. I'd rather go by sightlines here rather than yelling. He saw me. Come and get it. All you can eat buffet, bitch. $26 damage. 11 damage, but I'm grabbed. 17 damage. He dented my messenger bag and bit my torso. I missed and he bled my right foot. Oh my god, my torso encumbrance. He hit my head. My right arm. Oh man, we took a lot of hits there. Clip-on tie, leather pants, long underwear, dress shoes, socks, polo shirt, tank top. Nothing really exciting. Alright, so... our right leg is bleeding. Yeah, our right arm is injured just as bad, but it's not bleeding, and we care more about... well, I probably don't even need to use this, but I don't know how much blood I want to just let run. Alright. We're in moderate pain now, so what we could do is pop an aspirin. It'll help a little bit. Pain definitely affects your speed and some other things. So pain is causing us to have -1 strength, -1 dex, -1 intelligence, and -8% speed. So yeah, you don't really want to go through a lot of pain in combat. The heat is also giving us a -2% speed slowdown, and painkillers might numb us a little, but I don't know the specific effects of that. All right. Oh, we have a brainless zombie. Those are usually pretty good. Neither one of these have jumped onto us. Yeah. Shocked none of these things have fought me yet. Okay, we're in the screened porch. The door is still locked. Oh, but this window is unlocked. Huzzah! We're inside the house. Alright, now let's close all the windows, or the curtains. And we'll want to thoroughly examine it to make sure there's no zombies. But this is exciting. Good. Good. Okay. Good, good. It's not like we're gonna make this a base or anything like that, but, we're gonna be looting for a little while, so we don't want to be interrupted. Okay, let's check the basement. Do I have a flashlight? I have a cell phone, but it's not very bright. Okay. Basement looks pretty clean and empty. Okay. Good. So there's a furnace. We have a water heater. So we could have a drink of some clean, hot water. Light jacket. Undershirt. Dust mask. Not much to say in the basement. Outdoor adventures. This will increase your survival skill to 1. And 2 sets of picturesque. A game where one draws an image and the other attempts to guess what it is. The Analyst. Reader's Digest for America's Corporate Elite. Just for fun. And Treasury of Legends about Western Dancing. Alright, I'll take it. Computer Science 101, take that. Blobs and Bandits, a role-playing game set in the post-apocalypse. So you can pretend to survive the apocalypse while surviving the apocalypse. Okay. Some barter value's pretty good. I guess we're looking to grab the rest of that shit off of the... James, or whatever his name, Jameson. We got candles. We can make makeshift earplugs. More matches, sponge, a towel, which of course has a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference in it. Hydrogen peroxide. Grab that. We could make a shaving kit. We wanted to stay clean. Plastic bag with toilet paper. A luxurious remnant of civilization. I don't know what I don't know what toilet paper you do with it. Yeah, I don't know. More aspirin, cough syrup, multivitamins, toothbrush, more bleach, some soap, cotton balls. Okay. Detergent. And a down-filled pillow. And there's like a crate back there. But I don't want to... I can't get to it with these racks. I'd have to smash them. It looks like a safe. I don't know what I would do with a safe. What else do we have? Oh, here's the fridge, loaded with booty. We've got a glass jar with fruit jam, European Pilsner, ketchup, mustard, eggs, milk, soy sauce, sauerkraut, pickles, cheese, bologna, protein shake, orange juice, yogurt, pudding, processed gelatin, dessert, and more eggs. Alright, let's go ahead and eat. I mean, that's a big part of raiding, is just eating whatever is in the kitchens. Let's eat the dessert, I suppose. Oh no, we want to eat whatever has the lowest shelf life. So, milk. We'll eat that. And a yogurt. Yogurt. Okay. We do probably want to take some of that with us, but this is very close by. It's just the issue of it's not safe. Fire extinguisher, scrub, sponges, dish towels, rags. It's all pretty useful stuff. A stock pot. A paring knife, steak knives, bottle opener, butter knives, ceramic plates, corkscrew forks, plastic, spoons, tongs, bottle opener, can opener, corkscrews, ladles, rolling pin, spatula, vegetable peeler. I mean, it's just like, It's like everything you'd expect to find in an actual kitchen. They're like, yeah, put it in the game. Oh, an actual hammer. Yes. Because the hammer has level 1 prime quality. That's nice. So definitely take the hammer. Pliers, very nice. X-Acto knife. Battery charger. Great. Plastic straws. I don't think so. Actual batteries. Long strings. This house is a fucking treasure trove, man. Compote. 3 liter, what clear juice obtained by cooking fruit in a large volume of water. Okay. Pickled herring, beans, brown bread, salted fish, crackers, flour, gelatin, dessert powder. It's all pretty good shit. Okay, I deconstructed the rack. Takes time. But there's yeah, it's a safe. It's smashable. How hard would it be to smash this safe? So my best bet is like messing with the dial. Yeah, I don't know about that. That'll be tricky. I'll have to look up what people say about safes. Ceramic cup. Green tea leaves. Okay. You can boil them into green tea or just eat them raw. They aren't too filling. Okay, clothing though. Flip-flops, scarf, wool coat, solder. Let's take solder. We can always use that. Winter boots and a wristwatch. Boxer briefs, wool socks. Football armor. Heavy polycarbonate armor for your upper torso, normally worn by football players. Covers 45% only. 35 encumbrance. But protection-wise, yeah, it's good. If you're going for a very tanky build for some reason, that would be pretty sweet. I mean, not incredible, but it's something. A blazer, though, that actually fits me. It's got a pretty good coverage. The encumbrance isn't absurd, but it's also not very protective. And it's hard to tell how... Oh, 20 warmth. Yeah, I don't have a frame of reference for that, actually. Okay, 20 warmth is what my sneakers give. My jeans only give 10. My long sleeve shirt only has 5 warmth. So the blazer is definitely good if it was colder. But it's, you know, it's spring. A down-filled blanket. I can use it to make a tourniquet. Perfect. Bra, checkered pants, halter top, blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, most basic clothes aren't that exciting. RPG die. 7 of them. 6 files of documents. A coin. Stripped of its original purpose, it now serves faithfully Flippant Flippus for free. Magic 8-ball. And 6 scorecards. An aluminum can of dark cola. The Adorkable Girl. Just for fun. When a therapist's daughter transfers to a new school, she decides to change her personality type. As her social life begins to blossom, can she maintain a healthy boundary between her home life and her public persona? Only one way to find out. And a game of warships. It's like Battleship. Boxing monthly. That could be useful. Let's grab that. I mean, nothing better than just reading some books, right? Alright, let's eat a bit more food till we're full of stuff that's just gonna expire. Protein shakes. Yeah. Satisfied. There we go. And now let's take everything that we can carry that'll last for a while. Crackers last 12 weeks. Oh, none of this is edible. Well, yeah, because you have to open it. I get it. Alright, but yeah, crackers, salted fish, beans, pickled herring, brown bread, compote, I guess. Take the fruit jam, the eggs, the bologna, the cheese, the pudding, more eggs, and let's make sure I grabbed a can opener, bottle opener, and can opener, and that should be good. Okay. Oh, I can open it, but I can't close it. Interesting. Is it worth it to leave this open? Probably. I think we're probably okay. Alright, so let's make our getaway. So much sound. Alright, see, that's how it's done. Just do a little raiding. Just a little raiding. And now we got plenty of food. Perfect. Now we can dump off all our food here. This and this and this. Just all of it, I guess. Oh, wait, I'm dropping liquid. Oh, the pale ale. Oh, yeah, I was dropping the actual pale ale. Right. Yeah. Then... Dogbane seeds. A cheese sandwich we can make! Oh my god, a cheese sandwich! Really, we're using crackers, so it's cheese and crackers. A meat sandwich is meat and crackers. Oh, jam and cheese. Oh my god. That sounds disgusting. Yeah. I think the jam and cheese is the best. I mean, I'm just looking at calories, satiety, and enjoyability. I guess the cheese sandwich is the best. Let's make that. Oh my god. Floor cheese sandwich. Put it in my mouth. Oh yeah. Look at that. So good. Alright. I think we'll probably leave it off there though. Scratching the surface, man. It's just insane. It's just crazy. I played Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup for like quite a bit. I played quite a bit of that game. How did I not know about this? I really think this is like just better in pretty much every way. I know they're different games with different goals and all that, but damn. It's just so cool. The procedural world, and you never know what you're gonna find around every corner and every drawer, and just the scope of the things possible to you, and just people spend years in like a single game with a single character, like building up whole like villages and and just like traveling across the world and getting like bionic stuff put in them and putting in turrets to defend their base. I mean, it's just crazy. So it's one of those things where it's just like, if I was going on a trip somewhere and I just had like a low-end laptop, just load this shit up and play it for like 7 days straight. It's so, I mean, it's so simple as far as like, you know, processing requirements and stuff like that, but there's so much depth to it. It's incredible. So yeah, I'm still currently addicted to RimWorld. That's still occupying the majority of my time. But I think at some point you will be seeing some videos of this. Not this character, I'll start a fresh one. Problem is, I'll probably have to explain everything all over again. and like, this video is like 2 hours of explaining. But hopefully by then I'll know a lot more and I should be able to set things straight and, you know, condense stuff. But yeah, it's just so good. So good. Alright. My name is Mangg. This has been Mangg's variety stream for Cataclysm. Dark days ahead. I'll see you fine folks around.